Hey y'all, so today we're going to be making a beautiful fall centerpiece using this beautiful long, extra long dough bowl. And we're going to start with some floral foam. I'm just taking this and placing it in. I will glue it all down once I'm completely satisfied with how it all looks. But here I am turning around here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to use these gold candlesticks too. And again, I'm not gluing them down just yet. I just want to see exactly how I want everything placed. You can do this and get a very good idea before you actually glue it down so you don't have to be committed till you're completely satisfied. So I'm taking this floral bundle that I got from the craft store and I'm taking it down into like different pieces and doing the same thing with this greenery, dividing it into pieces so that it'll go farther. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to add this one piece here down to the very end, and that's going to give some length on the end of your piece. And then I'll do the exact same thing down on the other end. So I'm taking this other piece here and I'm going to, as I said, put it down at the other end. And I'm debating about the best way to show y'all this, but I finally decided just flipping the camera around is going to be the best option. So as you can see here, there's a piece down there on this end, and it's going to hang over and look so pretty. So I've got a couple of different shades of greenery, which I have cut off the stems, and I'm going to do some on both sides. I'm dividing them up so I'll have some symmetry. So there'll be some two different shades of green on each side, but they blend together nicely. Next, I've got some florals here, and I'm going to do kind of the same thing. In order to keep things fairly even, I want to kind of put the same things on each side. So I'll be taking those that I showed you just a minute ago, and I'm going to divide them up so there'll be an equal number on each side. Now I've got some florals here that were from an old project, and I took them out, and I only had 3 of each one, so I divided them up and I put 2 of one kind and 1 of one kind on one side and right the opposite on the other. It'll still blend in together and be good. Now I took one of these little stems. I'm just clipping that off of there, and I'm going to make my own floral pick with some little pumpkin scatter. I'm just going to take that and stick it on there. And now you have your own pick, just like picks like this that you would buy at the craft store. These are already made, but you can make your own. So I'm going to take these and use these as the focal point, I guess is the word I'm looking for, on this centerpiece. And then I have some more of the little smaller pumpkins that I'll be using also, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm dividing them up and putting half on one side and half on the other. I'm trying to turn this around where y'all can see, guys. Y'all, I am kind of new to this, so I'm still learning the best ways to show things. I realize this is probably not the best angle, but I would just so appreciate you guys if you would hang in there with me, because I promise I will get better as time goes on. But I do love doing all this kind of stuff, and I want to share it. So just hang in there with me. I hope you can find something that you enjoy about the video or anything that will be a blessing. So I'm just going ahead, and as you can see, I'm adding in the greenery, and I'm going to put the exact same thing on the other side as I'm doing here. And I'm just trying to mirror one end with the other end so you can see that it'll be very symmetrical. Now I'm adding in some of those florals there in the middle. Piece by piece. So now we're going to begin on the other side. And what I'm going to do on the other side is exactly the same as what you just saw me do on that side. Now we're going to begin doing the same thing on the other side. So we're basically going to do exactly the same pattern that we did on that side. That way it's going to be all symmetrical. And you basically are just trying to, in addition to having the beautiful pattern of flowers, you're also wanting to just cover up that styrofoam in every possible area. So now I'm going to take those pumpkins that we had talked about earlier, where we made our own little flower picks, and or pumpkin picks rather, and I'm going to put them on each end, and I'm just looking back at it, making sure I got it the same. It seems like to me, once you get things kind of anchored, all your bigger pieces, the filling in is so much easier. Now I decided to aid in filling in some of that styrofoam that I mentioned, that I was going to take this little mini wreath and take it apart and use it to do some filling in. Then I wanted to add in some florals, and I had these white flowers that were left over from spring, but they were just way too white. So I took them and did some tea staining on those. If you haven't done tea staining, it's so easy to give them a little bit more of a fall, like toned down look, but they still blend in nicely with the creamy white color. And I just, like I said, dipped them in my tea. It was actually just some sweet tea I had left from lunch. I dipped those in there and let them dry, and they turned out to be a beautiful tinged color. So I added them in. And now I'm taking some pieces that were left over from that greenery that I showed you earlier. You definitely want to hold on to your little scraps, because a lot of time you'll find out they come in extremely handy like they did today. And I'm adding them because this wound up being so much more floral foam, guys, than I was really expecting to have to cover. It just seemed like it kept needing a little bit more and a little bit more. But that's part of the beauty of this. You just do it and work on it till you get it satisfied. Things are rarely perfect, but nobody will ever know. So just work on it till you get it filled in. If you wait for things to be perfect, you will miss out on life. So just enjoy it. Nobody will ever know the difference, and then they will just admire your beautiful handiwork. So just keep filling in, taking those little pieces and covering up any gaps. Y'all pardon, I'm trying not to cough. I have just recovered from a sinus infection, allergy thing. It's with the fall weather changing. I am overcoming, so please disregard that. I'm trying to refrain from coughing. So I'm doing the exact same thing on the other end. I'm just putting in those little greenery pieces, whatever little florals you have left, just covering that up. But I promise you, I'm going to get this end down here covered up eventually. There's a little gap there, but it won't be when I'm completely done. So now I'm going to take that same floral that I had earlier, that I had cut off the little pick, and I'm going to remove some of the greenery from it, some of the leaves, and I'm just going to cut those off with the tin snips. And I'm going to, I know that's probably not the best cutter, but that's what I use a lot of times. You could use, of course, a floral wire cutter, but being in the business we have tin, we have things, and they cut really well, so that's what I used. So we're just going to place those in. Again, I'm sorry the angle's not the best, but I'm just kind of tucking them in to cover up any bare spots. So we're just going to continue to fill in with those greenery leaves. Nestling it in, filling in those styrofoam spots that are showing. And you just will find out when you're doing something like this that there are so many ways to do these projects, and no two projects are going to be the same. You really begin to learn that things that are not perfect a lot of time is what adds to it being beautiful. Sometimes I feel like the projects kind of become what they want to be, so you just kind of flow with it, and sometimes it'll be even more beautiful than you imagined because it just has a way of working out that way. I wish I had a better explanation, but sometimes those little things that seem like an accident, as Bob Ross would call a happy accident, turns into something even more beautiful. So don't be afraid to use projects that are left over from old things. I mean, the floral foam, I'm reusing this from a previous project. You can see with all the holes. I used some florals that were left over from spring and reusing them and placing them in a new way. And it's all about just being flexible and learning to work with what you have on hand, and just being able to create something beautiful that's uniquely your own. So we're just going to continue to fill this in. And I do want to add, like as I mentioned before, I wasn't gluing anything. Wanted to wait until I was finished. But one thing is, I like to not glue in the florals themselves, but you could easily do that. You could just dab a little bit of hot glue on there, and that would definitely make it permanent. But if you wanted to change it out, if you don't hot glue them in, they should be stuck in there good enough to stay, and you can remove them and change it out for another season if you'd like. So again, still trying to fill in that styrofoam. If you were doing this in a box or something that had deeper sides, it would not take near as many florals, but since the foam is exposed on all sides other than the bottom, it does take quite a few florals. So again, I'm just taking pieces from my stash and just kind of tucking it in, not focusing on perfection, but it is going to look really beautiful. You're about to show you the finished product here in just a minute, and I did get that little pesky corner covered. You'll see I've got it all just about covered up, and then I'm going to show you a view from the top so you can see what it looks like. I'm just going through and evaluating, seeing did I miss anything. And again, if you look at it from all edges, you may see something else, and then just take something, some more of your little greenery leaves and things, and just tuck it in once you're until you're completely satisfied that no floral foam is exposed. And you're left looking with a product that is very full and luscious, and I think you will be very satisfied. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think of the final project, and if you think that it all turned out good. I'm very satisfied with it, and I'm very pleased. And just wait, I'm going to show you here just in a second the complete look. And again, I'm just touching it up, and then here we go. I think it turned out beautiful and very lush. Let me know what you think.